Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, a.k.a. Man of the People, because I enjoy working for you all. You have a friend in the media, that's me, here to go live and answer any questions that you may have. So let me go ahead and tell you about what to expect tonight. Do not expect a live draft by draft, a deep analysis and reporting. We're not allowed to do that as members of the media. You need to tune in to ESPN or NFL Network or something like that. But what you can expect are several invited guests to join the show tonight. Other local media that are here at the stadium along with me covering the Panthers tonight are invited to stop by and talk about their mock drafts, the best additions and losses, and what they think will happen in the draft tonight. So it should be a pretty cool show, number of guests that are invited. But meanwhile, we'll also have a lot of little tidbits and facts to cover about this 2024 draft. So appreciate everybody for joining. Especially, got to give a big special shout out to the Jenkins family, in particular Mrs. Jenkins. I'm here at the stadium while she's at home holding down the 3 kids that we have, the 6-month-old girl, the 2-year-old boy, the 12-year-old boy. At the same time, been killing it studying for her nursing program, which she graduates next Friday. So special shout out to her and love all you guys that are watching. So yes, I got to say this as well. I'm a family man first. I love this. I'm very passionate about covering the Panthers, but I still, family's definitely first. So wanted to say that and give a few shout outs to everybody that's joining. And also make sure that you get in the habit of hitting that like button as soon as you come on the show. That helps us grow. And why do we not have 10,000 subscribers? Come on, all right? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well so we can reach that goal. Bigger we grow, the more we can have players and coaches on the show. Had the great opportunity to talk with General Manager Dan Morgan as well as Dave Canales in Indianapolis. That is a result of you all joining me and helping us grow. So I appreciate it. We will continue to grow. Let me give a few shout outs to people that are logging in and joining me right now. We got Marco Cash. What's up, Panther Nation? And we got time for UFL football. Okay. Sir T joining as well. And then gotta say this, my guy Chris Johnson, what's popping, you all. Hey, the Carolina Panthers, let's go ahead and talk about the Panthers and their draft selections for this 2024 draft. So give me a moment to get that on the screen for you. And this is why we're live right now, because right now the Carolina Panthers currently do not hold any picks in the first round. They have none at all. They have a few picks in the second round. They have a 33rd overall pick and then also the 39th overall pick. Both of those are from New York. And we also have the 4th round pick, 101st overall, as well as a 5th round pick, 141st overall from New York, and also the 142nd from Tennessee. No picks in the 6th round. And then in the 7th round, we got a pick number 240th overall from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is the draft selections currently as they stand without any changes happening. And once I hit the right button here, we're going to come back and you will see that I am joined by Joe Person of The Athletic. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, courtesy of no picks in the first round, Joe's able to join me, and I'm able to be live because we don't have anything yet. Now, we might have something. If we do, we won't go live for that. We'll have to go and talk to Dan. But, Joe, thanks for joining me. I want to talk to you about the draft, upcoming draft, and I know you've been doing a lot of good mock drafts. Information to follow Joe will be in the comments below, so please check him out. Joe, let's first talk about the losses that we had, all right?
Yeah.
Big transition, very bad team, so you expect a lot of changes, and we did.
Yeah.
Those losses that we have, any stand out of what are your big losses that we had?
Well, defense, you just saw kind of the heart and soul of that defense both end up, if you count Dante Jackson, 3 of them. But I was really referring to Brian Burns, of course, and Frankie Luvu. 2 big losses. Not just from a production standpoint, but as you know, having been in the locker room, just a leadership standpoint.
Both were captains.
Both were captains, and they just had juice. Whether Dan Morgan might call them dogs, but and look, I get it. Like the Brian Burns thing had reached a point of no return, mostly with his agent more so than Burns.
Yeah.
Frankie Louvu, I think they might have messed up that negotiation. I think maybe they should have gone a little higher to get him to come back, but he ends up in Washington. So those were two big losses, and that's what made the Clowney acquisition pretty important, that they had to get someone, Chris, with some legitimacy.
Yeah, so we lost Brian to the Giants, Louvu to the Commanders. We did pick up Clowney, which kind of is a segue to my next question about our biggest additions. Do you feel like he's the top, or do you feel like there's been another?
He's the top on defense, for sure, because without him, like, who on that defense, like, scares you anymore? Like, Burns is a guy that teams would game plan for, offense coordinators would. Now, Frankie, they didn't necessarily do that, but Frankie was a good, energetic player, and as I said, kind of had he was contagious the way he played.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Clowney at least now gives offenses a guy like, ooh, what are we going to do about number 7? They're lining up here. They're lining up sometimes, bringing them up the middle. Sometimes they drop them in coverage. And so that was big. And then on offense, I know the obvious answer would probably be Deontay Johnson, but I like those guards.
Okay.
It's an interesting approach. It's one we saw the Saints do with Drew Brees, and it's spending money when you have a shorter quarterback on the interior protection. Not, they're eventually probably going to have to pay Ike Ekwonu depending on how he comes along. But to pay money to those two guards, it's an interesting approach to keep those passing lanes, those interior passing lanes, clear for a 5'10" quarterback.
I'm going to flip back to the defensive side because you said Clowney's your biggest addition there. We're not going to see him be an every down player. Do you think that's going to be enough to still give us that impact that we need? But maybe once you combine it with Ivero as the defensive coordinator, could that be it?
Yeah, I mean, right. You're right. At 31, I think he is 31. He may not play 60 snaps a game.
Yeah.
And that's why I still think they could stand another edge in this draft. I don't know how high because they have a lot of other needs, but I'm still not sure that edge group other than Clowney. And I know DJ Wanham is another guy in free agency, the former Viking they signed. But, yeah, you make a good point. I think Ajero is really excited to use Clowney and use him in very creative ways.
Yeah. Let's go over to the draft part. Now, as much as you want to share, because I know you do mock drafts, you've done several of them. First, you could just start by maybe will they move up tonight, or what do you think they're going to do tonight, and then maybe what you feel like they should try to do overall. Complex question in a short amount of time.
First of all, isn't this like, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's sad, but it's a different vibe over here this year. Last year they had the stadium full of fans.
Yeah.
And now, to answer your question, I don't think they're going to pick tonight. I just think they've already, with the Bryce trade last year, expanded so much draft capital to move up for number 1 last year that, I don't know. I think they should go the other direction, frankly. I think with that 33rd pick, and it helps to have 39 courtesy of the Burns trade.
Right.
So it's not like if they trade back, let's say from 33 to somewhere in the middle of the second round, let's 45. I don't know. Pick a number. Yeah. You still have 39 and then 45. And so here's the thing.
And I'm assuming with that you're picking up an additional pick, right?
Absolutely.
You say 1 or how many?
Absolutely. I think you can get like an additional maybe second round pick next year, which would be key.
Okay.
I don't know that you'd get another one this year, but here's the thing. When teams tonight, especially if there's like a couple quarterbacks who don't get picked, maybe Bo Nix, I think Penix will get picked. But if he falls and there's a team sitting out there that did not get a quarterback tonight that wants one, then that just makes that 33rd pick all the more valuable because they go to bed, that GM, wherever it is, New England, pick a team that wants a quarterback, they go to bed dreaming of Bo Nix or Michael Penix or whomever. And Dan Morgan gets more return for that 33rd pick.
Okay. I'll let you out of here on this last one here, which is we've just witnessed 2 days of OTAs. Voluntary camp.
Yes.
We weren't allowed to watch the third day, which took place today.
Right.
But in those first 2 days, we got a chance to speak with Canales both days. What's your impression so far from those first 2 pressers with Canales?
Energy. I mean, and look, we saw that even at the opening press conference here, at the beginning of February. But watching him on the field the last couple of days, and I know you were watching him too. I mean, he's popping.
Around.
I know. Like, I think you even made the comment to me. It looks like he doesn't know exactly where he's supposed to go because he's always been a position coach. Like, I'm with the quarterbacks. Last year was an offense coordinator, but this year I saw him yesterday popping around with Shaq Thompson. Then he's like jogging over to get with the safeties.
Yeah.
Then he's jogging down to Clowney and the edge rushers. So, yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of youthful energy. I mean, he's 42 years old. And this isn't a knock on Frank Reich, but you see a lot of organizations when, okay, well, we tried the retread coach and didn't work for whatever reason.
Right.
Now we're going with the young guy who's never been a head coach. So
Right.
We'll see. I mean, this is a guy who did not get any other interviews, so either the Panthers saw something that nobody else did and were ahead of the curve, and, obviously that's what they're hoping for.
Okay. Appreciate your time, Joe. Person of The Athletic, always on Twitter, always writing great deep dive stories to give you a lot of background information. Appreciate your time.
It, Chris.
Go ahead upstairs.
Good luck the rest of the night.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, buddy.
All right, so that was Joe, Person of The Athletic. Again, his information will be down below in the comments for you to check him out. He's on it he never misses a beat at all, beat writer, right? So appreciate Joe for joining us, and we're going to continue to rock through some things here that are going, see some comments that are coming through from you guys, so I'll give a few shout-outs. By the way, the Super Chats are always welcomed if you want to do so. Independent media, 100% supported by your contributions, so anytime that you have the opportunity to do so, that would be great. But again, just hit the like button at the least. It's free, helps. And we got to reach 10,000 subscribers. So Joe commented on the fact that tonight is quite different from from last year, which is right. So I'm standing at the South Club Lounge, 3rd floor at the stadium. And, it's just, of course, there's nobody in the concourse right now. Very easy to get here, light traffic. And, it's what happens when you don't have a first-round pick. We did it all for last year, trading up to get Bryce Young. And we're going to see what tools that they're going to give him to add on to tonight, in addition to the ones that were added in free agency. So there are several others that could join us tonight. So just beware, stay tuned. They'll be coming. And also submit your questions, okay? When these guests come on, if some questions come on, I see they have some more time to answer, I'll certainly go ahead and do so. All right, so we're going to move along. Panthers do not have a first-round pick tonight, well said. But we do have a second-round pick. We actually have 2 picks in that second round. So that'll take place tomorrow, Thursday. The draft opens at 7 p.m. And who will be making those pick announcements for us in Detroit? Well, none other than the recent addition to what I think they call it the Ring of Honor. I hope I didn't get that incorrect. But Mushin Muhammad is up in Detroit, and he will make our second round, the first pick announcement in the second round. The second pick that we have in that second round will happen by NFL Troy Vincent, but then come around to the third round, Mushin Muhammad will also make that draft announcement for us. So that's pretty cool, something they started. I'm not sure how many years ago, but that's pretty cool that we do that with having the legends make the picks there. So let me take a look at what I have next for y'all. Also give some more shout outs here. What's up, Tyree Ross? Appreciate you joining me. Sir Lance Lott as well. Keep the great content coming. I will. And here's the beautiful wife saying, Cyrus keeps saying, hey, Dad. Hey, Cyrus. Hey, I don't know if he's still up or if he's going to bed, but Cyrus, when Mom tells you to lay down, stay laying down, okay? All right, don't get back up and give Mom a hard time. My son gives my wife such a hard time, but hopefully seems like it's one of those things that he just grew into, so hopefully he'll grow back out of it. So want to just get in touch on the OTAs, the voluntary camp that we got the chance to watch the past couple of days. Not something that you can get analysis for in terms of, hey, man, look at this connection from Bryce to Deontay. Hey, man, look at that rush that Clowney's getting. You can't get that at all. I actually even heard a coach talk about, let's make sure that we don't do anything that violates what we're not supposed to do during this period, which is very minimal contact, no real contact, no real game simulations type things. So you can't, from that standpoint, evaluate too much. But you can get some players to give comments on other players. And I know one of the players that we had the other day was Adam Thielen, who talked about his observations on Deontay Johnson and maybe what you can look for in him.
He just brings a confidence. I think he brings experience. I think he brings versatility. He's a guy that can do a lot of things. You know, just from watching him from afar and being around the last couple of days, he's a guy that can do a lot of things well, which I think in this league is really important and can really elevate an offense when a guy can be very versatile, similar to a lot of guys that have had success in this league. You look like Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson. Some of those guys that have had a lot of success, they can do a lot of things well. They're not just pigeonholed and being an X receiver or only in the slot, just doing a lot of things well. So it really helps the coaches to be able to kind of move people around and just kind of make it tough on the defense.
All right, so let's go over the list of who are the new additions to this Carolina Panthers team, just so everyone's up to date with that. We got guard Robert Hunt, who signed for 5 years, guard Damian Lewis, who signed for 4 years, linebacker Josie Jewell, signed for 3 years. This reminds me that the Panthers are due to give me their pronunciation sheet, so don't mess any of these guys' names up, which I hope I don't do. Defensive tackle Ashawn Robinson, cornerback Dane Jackson, safety Jordan Fuller, offensive tackle Yosh Niesman. Oh man, I hope I got his name right. Wide receiver David Moore, edge rusher J. Davian Clowney, safety Nick Scott. I think we got one more list here. Yep, we also have linebacker Clavon Chason. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Edge rusher DJ Bonham, and wide receiver Deontay Johnson. And you also just heard from Adam Thielen on his thoughts of Deontay Johnson so far. So you will see me looking down at the phone a lot tonight because there's a lot going on. There's a draft that's going on. There's also reporters that will be joining me to come on the show tonight that I'm dealing with and juggling. So that is why you may see me looking down a lot. Let's go ahead and get you all an update on the draft because that's what's going on tonight. So let me see if I can get you an update on who has been picked and who has not been picked. Wow, so the Bears still have not made their first pick yet. I thought for sure we may have that, but I guess that's going to take a minute. Now that it did come out recently that the Bears let people know, hey, give us a call. Give us a call about that first pick, and we'll see. So maybe those calls are happening. Maybe Dan Morgan's phone is ringing tonight as well. We will have the opportunity to talk to Dan Morgan tonight, whether we pick or not. So set your notifications. If you haven't already done so, first you got to subscribe, then set your notifications. And at that point, when Dan Morgan talks to the media tonight, whether they make a pickup or not, we'll know. Certainly if they don't, we'll be interested to know if they got any calls that were significant for them to do so or not. And I got a report that the static. All right, we have some static. Has that static been coming a lot? Hold on a second. on my side, so I'm not quite sure what I can do. But I'll give you all a chance to leave a comment to let me know if that static went away. Hopefully it did, because I don't want to start talking. I have the lovely Vashti from Carolina Blitz that is going to be joining us for a second, but I don't want to go too far into the show if there's static. So we're still just going to patiently talk and wait for one comment to tell us, Vashti, whether or not we have some static.
Got a comment.
No audio. Well, that's old. That's a delayed comment. I muted myself while I attempted to fix the static, so I know that's old. Willie Smith says it's clear. Give me one more comment that says it's clear now, and we will continue to go. They say, okay, we're good. It says we're better. All right. So we're Charlotte Vibe. We only cover the Carolina Panthers. This is Vashti Hertz. She's with Carolina Blitz. Who all do you cover, young lady?
The Panthers, Duke, UNC, NC State.
Yes, she covers the Carolinas. So
Yeah.
Her information will be below in the comments for you to follow her on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever else she gets me to share with you guys. I know, in my opinion, one of the best places to get instant video of locker rooms, practices, and all that stuff will be this young lady's Twitter.
Well,
I don't know how she does it. I try to beat her. I'm like, you know what? I can't beat her in that. I'm just gonna salute her
Well, I
for how
appreciate
quickly
that.
she's able to do it. And she gets great. I think yesterday you had Dave Cannell, and good captions too, right? So you had Dave Cannell. He said even his photos have energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally took those photos on my iPhone, like while he was up there talking, to kind of go with an article, and I said, "Oh wow, those are pretty good photos. I'm gonna post them." So,
Yeah. Well, I'll get into it because, again, right now, I appreciate everybody's joining me, but we're actually all working, covering the draft right now.
Yes.
So I can't take up too much of our time. So we'll just get right into it. Carolina Panthers had a terrible season last year.
Mm-hmm.
With that came a lot of change, right? And departures. So first question, biggest departures that you feel from the previous season?
Well, a lot of the guys on the defensive side of the ball are no longer here.
Yeah.
And for me, most notably, Brian Burns, because
Okay.
he was the leader in the locker room, not just on the defense, but on the offense. He kind of played big brother to Bryce
did.
Young. And he was the guy who always, was the one that we talked to. He was kind of the team representative. So now we have to figure out who will step up and be that team representative now. I think the team will have to figure that out as well. But when we're talking about off-season losses, I think that he obviously is the most notable of them.
And when you talk about him being in the locker room, that his vocalness, what immediately comes to mind was just watching him during the season with all the contract negotiation stuff and him just sitting there just looking like he's so frustrated. I'm happy it's over just for his sake. Wish he was here, but gladly he's able to be in a place where now he can just go to be Brian again, approach the season full steam ahead. Let's also go to the other, not to the other side, because again, I'm rushing because I want to respect your time. I was about to ask you about the offense, but let's go with the additions. We had some signings, whether it was trading or whether it was a free agent signing. Who do you like the most that we acquired?
I think the pieces that they got were important. The jury is out on whether those pieces will do well. I think on paper, adding those two big guards to the offensive line, very important, especially given how much Bryce Young was hit. Adding Deontay on the outside as a receiver, and what he said he will be the X-receiver. That was important because obviously Bryce needed weapons. So I think that adding those pieces were obviously good and obviously important. We'll see how they pan out. I'm just so pessimistic. Last year soured me because, I think everybody entered into the season with high hopes, competing for the division, all-star coaching staff, insert Bryce Young into the offense, and it just didn't work out. So now I'm more of a wait and see approach.
Some people use the term cautiously optimistic.
Cautious.
Just cautious. I had something else I was going to throw at you, but I just forgot, so we'll continue to roll through. The draft, it's upon us. I'm not a mock draft guy. I don't know if you're a mock draft lady.
No.
But what would you like to see, and what do you think you will see from this Carolina Panthers team in terms of the draft tonight and throughout the week?
Well, no picks tonight, but we're still here. So if something pops off, Chris and I will be here
We'll
with the
be here.
updates, right?
Hey, they got good food upstairs. I don't know if you had a chance to look.
They put it up already.
I'm sorry.
The food is gone, but I did eat. I did get some.
Okay.
But yeah, and then we'll also talk to Dan and Dave
Yeah.
at the end of the night.
D&D.
So that's always good. I like that. I'm gonna steal that. But yeah, I think that the Panthers still have a couple of holes to fill. Obviously, they could use another wide receiver. This is one of the best wide receiver classes that we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
They could use some more speed on the outside, maybe some more length as well. Austin Corbett, although he's very comfortable with playing center, coming off of knee surgery, I think that is a position that they'll look to address. The cornerback room is very thin. The cornerback room is very thin.
Very.
That's another area, and also edge rusher. So I think obviously Carolina has holes to fill. They have to hit in this draft. That's it. I mean, there are no ifs, ands, or buts. I actually posted a tweet about Marty Hurney, and I gave him his flowers. Marty Hurney hit in the first round. The Panthers do not have a first-round pick, but Dan Morgan has to hit at 33.
Yeah.
And he has to hit at 39.
What I just did may have you come back on the show a second time because I have what you just spoke
Oh,
about
there
on the
it
screen.
is.
Right. This is courtesy of Carolina Blitz. Again, her information for Twitter will be in the link, so join her. Has lots of great content. But this is what she was just referring to in terms of Marty Hurney, first round.
And one correction, Christian McCaffrey, I think maybe that was a Gettleman. I need to confirm that. But everybody else.
Pretty good. I mean, I like all. Who of those guys do you not like?
Beeson was, considering that they trade, I think they gave up a pick for Beeson. He wasn't really, he wasn't of the caliber of a Thomas Davis and a Luke Kuechly. And then also Jonathan Stewart. After Jonathan Stewart, they drafted Jeff Otah a few picks after that. I didn't include that, but I mean, come on, Pep, Gross, Gamble, TD, D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly. Listen, I've been around long enough to remember where people did not like the Luke Kuechly pick. DJ Moore, Brian Burns, Derek Brown. Marty Hurney was money in the first round. Dan Morgan's going to have to be money in the second.
All right. We do have a few picks, so I'm going to say those. So the Bears did take Williams, number 1, and the Commanders have taken Daniels, number 2. So 2 picks, 2 quarterbacks off the board. No big surprise there. Last comment, because the guy let you go. You were talking about Deontay being that first look. You know what came to mind when you said that was it could be a little interesting to see this offensive performance on the team, right? Nobody likes to talk about Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen loves to use that as a tremendous amount of fuel for success. He was our leading receiver. And I just wonder how much Adam Thielen hurt that. And the friendly went like, oh, so you're going to get all the first looks? Well, let me see what I can do to show you that I'm older. But see, are you giving me a stone face? I'm not reading you 100% here.
I don't think Adam Thielen was supposed to be wide receiver 1 last year.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed. It was supposed to be DJ Chark.
How would you feel about Adam Thielen having another very productive year, and Deontay Johnson having?
Then the Panthers aren't good, and that's no knock on
Okay.
Thielen, but Thielen cannot be that first option. You remember a guy called Ricky Prohl?
Yes.
Ricky Prohl was was an older receiver, very solid, somebody you could go to, shorthanded, you could go to and make the play. He would make the play. Slot receiver. I see Adam Thielen in that role. Veteran, shorthanded, third down. If you need to go to a guy, he is your guy.
Yeah.
He should not be the X guy. And if he is, the Panthers are in trouble.
I get it. Very good perspective. And this is why I like to have other journalists on the show. Lots of different perspectives to see and for you guys to soak it in and decide how you want to feel about this team. But hopefully you'll continue to support Vashti.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time very
All right.
much. Go up there, have a seat, and do it. Hey, tell Alex to come on down.
Alex, I will.
If he's still available.
Okay.
If he's tied up, he's tied up.
Okay.
But again, thank you guys for watching. Willie Smith here with a comment that said, Willie, I really like Dave Canales' comment that they are building a team. I believe we're drafting BPA at 33, offensive or defensive lineman. All right. Appreciate it. And then we have Dab828. Both of y'all have great questions. We try to. And assuming that we're still clear. Again, earlier when I paused, it was just to go and try to fix something. I didn't want that noise to continue to come on through. So it seems like that's been cleared up and we're all good to go. Again, independent media, ask that you, when you have the chance to, hit the like button, subscribe. There's no reason why we shouldn't have 10,000 subscribers. And I will continue to, from now until the season starts, anytime there's an opportunity for us to film practice, I'll film practice. I'll put those highlights. There will be highlights. I can't send the full time that the media is allowed to watch, and I can't send certain types of things. Like example, when they're doing team type of activities, I cannot record those. But if you want to see some practice and some reps, Bryce throwing, Clowney rushing, and things like that, please continue to subscribe, and those items will continue to come on through. So 2 picks off the board, many more to go. And I think I have one more guest that may be joining me, so I'm going to give them a moment to join us. And wide receivers, as we just talked about, who will it be? Well, let's go ahead and steal a piece from Steve Smith Sr. here. His top wide receivers, none of these guys have come off the board yet, but we have Steve Smith Sr.'s top 20. I'll just say a few. Malik Neighbors, he has as number 1. Marvin Harrison Jr. as number 2. Rome Odunze, that is me strictly guessing, at number 3. Brian Thomas Jr. 4. Xavier Worthy 5. Now, the guy that I have been hearing that was talked about yesterday with Coach Dave Canales, Xavier Legette, he has at the number 9 position. So that's Steve Smith's top 20. I'll leave that on the screen for a second for you all to soak that in and digest that. And it was interesting to talk with Canales the other day as he spoke about being around town and in Charlotte and the draft picks that you, the fans, think he should get. And also in regards to him telling that Legette that he was, we're going to pick you at 33. So if you didn't have a chance to hear that, I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now. Here's Canales on Legette.
Oh, yeah. That was, it was a great conversation. I definitely said that to him and about 50 other guys, man, so we take you at 33. It's actually a lead-in question. So when we draft you at 33, what happens now? And then there's a bunch of questions that happen after that, so yeah, part of the process.
Alrighty. So that is Canales on. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. There's Canales on Legette and basically about drafting him. So give me a second here. Again, this is live TV from the stadium. I have one more guest that may or may not be able to join me. And so hold on for a second while I try to communicate. One second. All right. That's called multitasking during live coverage of the NFL draft. I could say I'm getting my my Ian Rappaport on, right? Because he's on the phone a lot as well. But we currently have 3 picks in. Oh, actually, the North Carolina man himself, Drake May, has been selected. Drake May goes to the New England Patriots. How about that? Again, the Huntersville, North Carolina product kid that then went to North Carolina was in fact picked up by the New England Patriots. I would say now maybe Bill Belichick has this guy, but he is no longer there, right? Sometimes guys have been in this place so long it takes you a second to kind of remember that they are no longer there. But congratulations to him on being drafted. You know, he was also at the draft tonight talking with Cam Newton. I did not know that Cam Newton was going to be part of the NFL Network. I'm wondering if his official retirement will be announced soon now that they have him on NFL Network. Congratulations to Cam for doing that, looking stylish while he's doing that. And I know it was a part where Cam asked him to rate his swag on his outfit, and he said, oh, well, you know, I'm just kind of happy to be here kind of thing. I'm not on the Cam Newton kind of level. I just got on some exclusive Jordans with the baby blue and white and got on the baby blue tie, and that's about all I can give you. But congratulations to him on that. So we've got a few other things that we're going to touch on tonight, which is I had a miscellaneous thing for you all tonight before I get back to the draft coverage. Miscellaneous news. Devin Funchess, do we remember him as we talk about wide receivers? Devin Funchess. He's in Carolina for, I think, 4, maybe 5 years, but I know certainly 4 years he was in Carolina. Ended up going to Green Bay. Then he set out the year because of COVID. Then I think maybe missed a year. Then went to Detroit, switched from wide receiver to tight end. Didn't make it there long, and he was cut. So basically after his time in Carolina, he didn't have much of a career. But he has made history. Devin Funchess has made history as the first player to be in the NFL and then also sign a professional contract with, I think it was a team in Colombia, but he has signed a professional basketball contract. So therefore making him effectively the first player ever to play professionally in the NFL and then also to play professional basketball. So there you have it. Let's also share with you one other graphic about who we lost. So this may give us some insight into what we may be looking to fill in here as we talk about who we have lost. Bradley Bozeman, center, even though we have Austin Corbett, who has jumped in and said that he is more than ready to be filling the shoes as a center. And as a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and share that audio with you. Austin Corbett talking about being a center.
I've been groomed to be a center my entire career, kind of even starting back in college. Played every game at left tackle, but my head coach, Brian Polian, he's like, you want to play in the league, like, you're going to be a good center. You're too smart not to. And so from that time, I've just been constantly groomed to be a center. I've been the emergency center every team I've been on, constantly taking reps. I was the starting center going into the Super Bowl year back in 21 through training camp, and then ended up shifting around. The backup center was healthier than I thought, so shifted back out to right guard. But so it's nothing new by any stretch of the imagination.
So nothing new for Austin Corbett to go in and play at that center position, which, hey, he seems to have the right attitude about it. Something he's done before, something he said he was a backup center for that Super Bowl year for his team. I think it was L.A. that he was with. And so good stuff there. Got one more thing I think I have for you guys before I get out of here. Do I? As I sing, I do not. So, as I mentioned, we're all still actively working. I decided to go live because I knew we didn't have a first-round pick. I was going to have Alex Zietlu from the Charlotte Observer join us, but with local product Drake May just being drafted, he has got to cover that and is not able to make it. So that's going to wrap us up for the show so far tonight. Again, we will be back either once the Panthers make a move up or at the end of the night, we'll have the opportunity to talk to Dan Morgan. So if you're a night owl, set your subscriptions and alerts, you'll know, or you can watch it in the morning. That'll take care of coverage for tonight. Thanks everybody so much for watching. I'm Chris Jenkins, live at Bank of America Stadium for Charlotte 5.